Hello everyone and welcome back. Through the years I found that when people struggle with playing the guitar, there are three main culprits that are to blame, and so today I would like to share these with you, of course with some solutions. And this will help you not only play better, but also become more emotionally connected to the instrument, and also will help you prevent injuries, which is a big deal to a lot of us. Now, a little disclaimer, since we are on YouTube, none of what I'm talking about is mandatory or something you must conform to. Luckily, in music and in art, not many things are, but there are in all disciplines things that serve you well, and these certainly will. All 3 points we'll be discussing today revolve around and point you to the main idea, which is that when you play the guitar, your hand should be naturally curved, just as if you were very relaxingly holding a big ball. Most guitar players actually understand and subscribe to this idea, but they find it very hard to implement it and to maintain it as they struggle with, whatever it is they're doing on the instrument. So let's break it down into 3 simple steps and take it from there. The first part of the hand we'll focus on today is the first joint from the tip of the finger. This is called the distal interphalangeal joint. And one of the key aspects of playing properly is that we hit the string with the tip of the finger. This ensures precision, the best possible sound, and the minimum amount of pressure, which in turn affects things like speed and dexterity. And this is also where a lot of your tone resides, where you actually touch the string, and this is also what allows you to emote and express yourself. And finally, strength comes from having your joints slightly curved. Imagine pressing down on a table like this or like this. It's easy to see that this will be the weaker option. Also, the force that bounces back from the table, if you're like this, will concentrate all of it in this joint and possibly cause stress and injury. Whereas if I do this, it will travel back through the hand and even through the whole body. A very simple exercise you can do to get used to this concept is to play any scale you know and alternate between a fretted note and the open string below it. If I'm playing the 8th fret on the 6th string, I'll play that, and then play the open 5th string, then the 10th fret of the 6th, and the open 5th string. When I play the open string, I always keep my finger down, all right? And then I do the same thing with the 5th and 4th, and the 4th and 3rd, just like that. This will ensure that I'm always bending my joint, and then I leave enough of a gap underneath the finger for the other string to pass through. Next, we'll move down to the big knuckles here. This is actually called the metacarpophalangeal joint, and this is where a lot of span and reach problems occur. The idea is to always have this joint slightly bent outwards, and many beginners actually do the opposite. They bring it in, and what this does is collapses the fingers and makes it very, very hard for you to reach more frets. It makes it very awkward to finger the strings. Also, overly bent fingers will not reach as far. Try this. Bend your fingers and try to open them apart. It's very hard to do. Now, use a gentle curve and open them. And this happens to you when you play the guitar. As an exercise for this, let's go back to the scale you used in the previous exercise. I was just playing C major. And let's start on the 6th string. Most people will have a good position on the 6th string. They're kind of forced into it because otherwise their fingers wouldn't reach the 6th string. But then as they go down the scale, they bring it up and collapse their fingers. So that's what we're trying to avoid. And the first thing you can keep in mind is to always leave a gap between your palm and the fretboard. Imagine just a finger or a pen or whatever it is you want to imagine. Just make sure you could always fit something between your palm and the fretboard. If I start here and I go down the string, I'm always maintaining this gap. Right, so that's the first thing. It could be hard to manage, so we can use a little mental image to help us. Imagine you have a thread with at the end of it a steel or lead ball. And that lead ball, as you work your way down, will pull the hand down with it. Just like that. When you work your way up, reverse it, so the thread now is attached to a balloon. And that balloon brings up your hand as you go from the 1st to the 6th string. And finally, we move down to the wrist. Compression of the wrist from poor posture causes all kinds of problems, mainly in the realm of pain and discomfort. It's very easy to test. Just wiggle your fingers like this. Now bend your wrist and you start feeling some discomfort. Some of you might feel pain even. And then you do the same thing on the other side, and the same thing happens. Now you do this for hours on end, day in and day out, for enough years, and you will develop serious conditions such as tendinitis or carpal tunnel syndrome and even arthritis. So it's very important that this is addressed. My way of dealing with and looking at this actually has always been very simple. I would just relax my hand completely, bring it up and look at it. And this is the natural shape of my relaxed hand. And these are the angles. And so if you want to give it numbers, we could say maybe 5 to 30 degrees is a natural angle, but really to me it's simply relaxing the hand and kind of putting it there. And if I can maintain that, then I know I'm safe. And one thing to keep in mind when we play is that sometimes we are so into getting something down, could be a scale, a lick, or a chord, that we're kind of willing to sacrifice the form for the result. And this is where I see a lot of problems happen, and then chronic pain and all the stuff we talked about. So if I could give you some advice, always start from the perfect shape and the perfect form, and then worry about the results, because the results will come, but so will the damage, and it's much harder to fix that. Luckily, if you follow my instructions on the previous joints, the wrist will kind of take care of itself. It will kind of hold a natural position. So it's not as hard as it seems, though always keep an eye on it. If you need some motivation to keep improving your technique and try the concepts in this video, I must say these books will give you plenty to work on, and I certainly appreciate the support. You can also check out these videos for single note ideas and some beautiful chords. Thank you very much as always, and I'll see you in the next video.